for discussing the party's chances in the governorship election. All right. Now, let me ask you, if elected, what would be your disposition to the ongoing urban renewal project?
Well, thank you very much. On issue of urban renewal, well, if projects that are ongoing, let me be categorical, and they are beneficial to my people, we will definitely continue with that. There will be continuity in governance. But areas where that they are not in our interest, we will discontinue with it. The truth of the matter is that we have 23 local governments in Kaduna State. For me, there has to be fair distribution of developmental programs for every nook and cranny of the state to reap the benefit of governance. But for one to have decided to select some local government to the detriment of the majority, I don't think it's fair. And for me, fairness, equity, and justice should be uppermost in all that we do. So I don't think it's something that we should allow it to continue. We'll definitely spread projects, developmental projects, to the nooks and crannies of Kaduna State from within the 23 local government areas we have, not the 4 or 5 local governments that they are currently working on. I'm not for that.
All right, another very important issue. How do you intend to tackle the age-long farmers-herders clashes in southern Kaduna and the banditry which has rendered farming communities inaccessible and impoverished thousands?
Thank you very much, Bola. The truth of the matter is, the best thing a leader should do should identify the problems that bring about this crisis, both that of banditry and the hardest farmers' clashes. We had it before, especially the farmers' hardest clashes when we were in government 1999-2007. A committee was set up from within the same locality, and issues were addressed, and they themselves, as committee, provide solutions to these problems. And the problems was sorted out once and for all. The issue is that we have to be open and work side by side with the people in government. That is the only way that people will have sense of belonging, and issue of security is something that can be tackled when you involve the communities. For instance, what aggravated the security problems is the vacant and governed land that is in our state. Districts and villages were sacked for reasons best known to the government of the day. And this gave room for vacant and governed lands. And the bandits took advantage of these vacant lands and occupied the lands. They were forcing people living within that community to be paying tax to bandits. Should that be allowed to happen? So I want to assure you that issue of poverty contributed. Issue of unemployment is another contributory factor. Drugs abuse is one of the major contributory factors. So I want to assure you that given the opportunity, we'll make sure that the issue of living and governed spaces will be filled up. We'll bring back this village and district heads to make sure that we have people that are overseeing this ungoverned land. Number 2, we'll fight drug abuse head on.
Okay. Please go ahead.
We'll fight drug abuse head on because as I'm talking to you, we have started identifying major areas of these drug dealers. We will face them squarely as we are given the opportunity. And within no time, once these major hurdles are crossed, the issue of insecurity will be put behind us. The issue of having to open up and discuss with these bandits is they are human beings like us. We can do that and make sure that we bring this matter to an end. They have been speaking, but according to them, people are not hearing. And once you allow room for discussion, issues can be resolved on the table. And I think we should give that opportunity so that peace can be restored, and everybody will will go to bed with his two eyes closed. I want to assure you that we are prepared for this insecurity to be brought to an end, and will, by the special grace of God, bring it to an end.
All right. Honorable Kudan, will you be willing to negotiate with terrorists should any kidnap of students or citizens occur if you're elected governor?
So long as they will lay their arms down and face reality to come forward for discussion, there is nothing in discussing with them to bring this matter to an end. They are human beings like us. And I feel once you talk to those that matters, this thing can be brought to an end by the special grace of God.
All right. You know, Nigeria, including Kaduna State, is facing rising debt. I would like to know, how do you intend to tackle this for you to get revenue to develop the state? Sister.
Unfortunately, the debt that was collected was about $595 million, the World Bank loan that was collected. When you convert it to naira, it's about 360-something billion naira. Unfortunately, this loan was collected for no other purpose than to finance consultancy and training alone, no capital component in it. 78% of the loan that was collected was meant for consultancy and for consultancy services and training. 22% of the remaining balance was meant for semi-capital. What they mean by semi-capital is what I cannot tell. But the truth of the matter is that this thing is in the website of the World Bank, and the monies were released in its entirety. So the level of indebtedness, apart from the local debt, that is to the tune of about 86 billion naira. And even in this year's budget that they passed, there was a provision of about 70 billion to be sourced to finance the budget. Put together, you are talking of more than $500 billion in against the state.
All right, Honorable Kudan, let's go ahead with our discussion. Kaduna State is, one of the states with extreme poverty. I would like to know what you intend to do about that.
Thank you very much. The issues is in the front burner. We intend to make sure that we establish skill acquisition centers where this large battalion of youth that are roaming with their certificate that are unskilled will be trained skilled on how to sustain themselves and their family. And once we get that done, we'll create areas of intervention through provision of soft loan for them to be on their own. Because white-collar job is no longer the order of the day. There is no work that can take up the whole of this battalion of youth. We intend in the agriculture sector to make sure that we do the very best we can to reintroduce irrigation scheme. In the irrigation scheme, you will have, you will engage our youth and whosoever is interested in farming throughout the year round. You can farm 3 times in a year. And with what we intend to provide under agriculture, we'll provide subsidies for fertilizer and at the same time for other farming implements and the inputs. This can go a long way in engaging these youth that are unemployed and make sure that we get them engaged. The other area that we can reduce this poverty is in the introduction of those that have interest in small businesses that we can use and make sure that we assist them to be on their own. We will have been in discussion terms with some agencies that are willing to support us in that direction. I want to assure you that a very, very valid and good presentation has been made and is under consideration to make sure that we get our children out of the street, taking into consideration the poverty level in the north. I'm sure you are aware that about 133 million are the figures that were given by National Bureau of Statistics, and 70% of the 133 million are from the north. And the only way out is to make sure that we engage our children to make them gainfully employed, so that they will be employer of labor, to make sure that they too assist in mopping out these unemployed youth that are roaming the street doing nothing.
All right. Yes, I know you have mentioned a few, but then what are the other major things you would do differently if elected governor of Kaduna State?
Hello?
What are the other major things you would do differently if elected governor of Kaduna State?
Well, on my part, I will my own style will be all inclusiveness. I will make sure that all segments of the society are carried along in appointments, projects, and issues concerning resolution of dispute. Once you carry people along, I want to assure you that they will feel part of the government. They will give their best in making sure that the government succeeds. Unlike now that you have very few individuals managing the affairs of government as if it is their personal property. I want to assure you that there will be all inclusiveness in all that we do in governance.
Let's quickly talk about the presidential election. Apart from APC, your party is contending with parties like Labour Party and the NNPP. How will you rate the chances of your presidential candidate, Atiku, in this race? Well,
very, very bright. Very bright in the sense that the situation we have on ground is that NNPP and Labour parties that, yes, they have interest, they are entitled to vie for positions, but to us, they are just like spoilers. But there is something in that. We have been doing pragmatically to make sure that we tackle their aspiration, particularly in some of our areas, where you predominantly, areas where you have Christian dominated areas, since they go on religious mission, they try to convince the Christian community that, yes, Labour is for Christians. That is in particular in my own state. And with what we have done so far, people are beginning to understand their mission. And we are making progress in making sure that we try to keep them within the ambit of our party, particularly in Zone 3. Apart from religion, PDP is next in southern Kaduna. And we are working very hard to make sure that they stick to PDP. Because in all the previous government in PDP, they had the greatest opportunity and were the greatest beneficiary of appointments at both federal and state. And they are convinced. So we are working extra hard to make sure that we keep them within the APC fold. For NNPP in the northern part is not making any headway. It's more of a Kano party rather than northern part of Nigeria. So we are home and dry as far as NNPP is concerned, by the special grace of God.
But then, how do you think PDP will cope without the support of the G5 governors?
Well, my sister, the G5 governors are on board. I'm sure you are aware that President Atiku Abubakar was in Oyo State, Ibadan, and all candidates except the gubernatorial candidate were in attendance. And he went on air, the presidential candidate, to thank the governor for all that he has done to make that exercise a success. The Benue, my brother, the Benue state governor, was also on board. He has been going around campaigning for PDP from up to bottom. So for sure, they are back on fold. For your information, the executive governor of Rivers State, Yesemuke, has graciously donated the stadium free of charge for President Atiku Abubakar to attend his rally in one of the stadiums in Prakot. So, yes, there are internal problems that by the special grace of God will be sorted out as time goes on. But they are on board. They are doing their very best to make sure that PDP wins and will, by the special grace of God, win.
All right. I would like to know, do you see what the G5 governors are doing as anti-party activities?
Well, they are ventilating their anger for not getting what they wanted. And as human beings, they have the right to do that. But there should be limitations to all that we do. Because for me, I was part of those that that led a team to Port Harcourt to discuss this subject matter with Wiki. And we had a fruitful discussion with him. And he said this matter will be sorted out with time. So there is something wrong in allowing them to ventilate their mind. And at the end of it all, what is of importance is to make sure that he delivers PDP in all the 5 contending states. And they will do that. I'm optimistic that they will do that.
Well, Honorable Kudan, why has it been so difficult for the PDP to resolve this issue? Why has it taken this long?
The truth of the matter is that the situation we will find ourselves in PDP is the fact that immediately after the Congress, we went in for primaries. From primaries to campaigns for general elections. So we don't really have that time to make sure that we bring these people on board. And you know, even from within, there are interest groups that are using this controversy for their own selfish benefit. Unfortunately, they are beginning to lose out because majority of them are also contenders of position in their respective states. So with what we are seeing and what we have discussed last week, I'm sure this thing will be over within no time.
All right, but there are some people who have consistently said that the PDP can still win the elections without the G5 governors. I would like to know if you shared the same sentiments.
Well, there are politicians that are interested in the quagmire. There are the politicians that are benefiting from the wranglings. So for me, every vote is important and it counts. So for anybody to say that we should discard them is not helping matters. And they are likely the beneficiaries of these wranglings. I want to assure you that every person matters in elections.
Honorable Kudan, I would like to know why you intend to reverse all the policies of this present administration in Kaduna State. Why do you say you will consistently reverse them?
Hello?
Hello, Honorable Kudan. You have consistently promised to reverse all policies of this present administration. Why do you say so?
I didn't say so. What I said was any of their programs that is to the benefit of our people will definitely be concluded. Those that are not in the interest of our people will be discontinued. That was what I said.
All right. How then do you rate the chances the APC administration in Kaduna State on a scale of 1 to 10?
Well, maybe 4/10.
4/10, why?
Because of the security situation. Whatever you have done good, because people cannot sleep with their 2 eyes closed and hunger is all over, that is object poverty, and their policy of disengaging staff without commensurate assistance from the government for them to continue their livelihood, people are just too eager to send them out.
The 2023 election is just 32 days away. I would like you to rate INEC preparation for the election.
Well, with what I've seen, I'm confident that they can deliver, because I've been part of the process of dissemination of information from INEC to political parties. And so far, so good. I'm not seeing anything that will hinder their ability to deliver 2023.
All right, before we go, let me also have your position on some of the very key issues affecting us today, especially as we prepare towards the election. One of the main issues concerning the elections is insecurity. INEC has recorded more than 50 attacks on its facilities across 15 states in the last 4 years. What do you think is responsible?
It is very serious and alarming. It's unfortunate that this thing is happening now. I would only want to call on the CNC to make sure that security agencies across the country are dispatched to the various election centers to make sure that the materials are secured and the staff themselves, so that we'll get this election behind us. But it is really unfortunate that this thing is happening now.
All right. In your own view, what do you think are the factors that will shape this coming elections?
Well, for me, the new Electoral Act has done an excellent job in trying to make sure that we have a fair election. And once we follow these things strictly, I want to assure you that we'll have a smooth process that is acceptable to majority. Even if it will not be acceptable to all, but it will be acceptable to majority. So elections can be perfected with time. It's not overnight that we can perfect election.
All right. Finally, Honorable Ashiru Kudan, what is your parting shot for the people of Kaduna State?
Well, I will appeal to them to remain prayerful, remain steadfast and committed, and that should be careful in making unguarded utterances for peace to reign. Number two, that they should have their PBC under their pillow, so that once the opportunity is created, they do the needful, so that we will bring a government that is more acceptable to our people, more acceptable to the community, for peace to reign, and make sure that development is back as it was during the PDP days.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Ashiru Kudan. He is the governorship candidate of the PDP
for your time.
State.
I want to appreciate you and TVC for giving me this opportunity, despite the party differences. May God continue to allow TVC to grow to greater heights.
Amen. Thank you very much. We wish you the very best.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVCNewsNG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria.